Hi everyone, we have reached Proverbs chapter 5, and this chapter talks about adultery and an immoral woman. I know this topic is for adults and grown ups, but I can just imagine King David, gathering all his little children around him and sowing the seeds of wisdom and understanding in their little hearts. The same thing is done by Solomon when he says, in verse 7 it says, "Therefore, hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth." When he's talking about this topic to his little children, sowing the seeds of wisdom right from the time when they are very young. So, here is an instruction to all the young men, young and old, whoever is watching. It says here, "The lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of hell. Lest you ponder her path, her ways are unstable. You do not know them." So the Bible is describing an immoral woman as someone who is full of deceit, full of flattery. She knows how to flatter you with her words. She knows how to seduce you with the way she speaks. Okay, but it says here her feet go down to death, because in the end she is bitter as wormwood. Obviously we see, it's no big, it's nothing new. Wherever we go, in any advertisements or in anything, you see they always take a very seductive woman to advertise their product most of the times. And this is the idea behind it, because an immoral seductive woman can just flatter you till she gets what you want, and most men just fall into that trap. And we are living in a time where anywhere you go, whichever side you turn, whether on the internet, whether on TV, or wherever, there's always these kind of temptations will always be there. Like, how much can you run from it? These temptations are always going to be there. But the Bible is saying, it says in verse 20, "For why should you, my son, be enraptured by an immoral woman and be embraced in the arms of a seductress?" So God, so lovingly he is telling his sons, his mighty sons, why should you be enraptured by an immoral woman? Like, no matter how much flattery comes, or no matter how much seductiveness comes, why do you want to be enraptured by that? And you will not believe, so many men are just falling into temptation just by being seduced by an immoral woman. So many men are falling into temptation. And then it says here, "Remove your way far from her and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others and your ears to the cruel one." See, God is teaching us something, a wonderful truth in this place, especially for, this topic is actually for men, young men, and it's really my heart to share this with you. God has created a man with honor inside of him. Every man has this thing, this honor inside of him. That honor that he needs to keep. And whenever he is that honor part of him is touched, it brings a lot of humiliation. Because why is that honor inside of every man? It's because God has made him in his image and likeness, in God's image and likeness. So automatically you have that thing in you, within you. It's inbuilt. And when in the Bible says that when you give yourself into this to this immoral woman, it's like you're just giving your honor away. Just imagine giving your honor away and walking, without honor, even though someone has seen you or not seen you. But the Bible says that when you give in to an immoral woman, it's like you're giving your honor away. And in today's world, there is so much temptation. Like, you don't have to even go anywhere. Right at your fingertips, there's pornography. There are ways to get seductive pictures from immoral women. There are so many things you can get at your fingertip. But imagine when you do that, when you indulge in that, the Bible is saying you're just giving your honor away. And God is saying, "My son, why do you want to give your honor away like this? And why do you want why do you want to give your ears to the cruel one?" Okay. What happens then when you just give in to this kind of temptation? It says here, your ears, in verse 10. Lest aliens be filled with your wealth and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. See, there's someone who you don't know, all your labor, all your money, all your wealth, you're just spending, all your energy, you're spending behind someone who you don't even know. So God is teaching us, God is teaching his young boys here that do not waste your honor on, do not give away your honor and do not waste your energy and your wealth on someone who you don't know. And then it says, if you read further down in verse 15, drink water from your own cistern and running water from your own well. Should your fountains be dispersed abroad, streams of water in the street? No, let them be only your own and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth. Here it's talking to husbands, especially to husbands, that do not waste your bodily fluids on strangers or just on the street, but rejoice with the wife of your youth. Rejoice and be enraptured with her love. There's such a great blessing for a man who faithfully loves and looks after his family. In fact, Jesus said that even if you look at a woman with lustful eyes and you lust after her, you have already committed adultery in your heart. So Jesus has just raised the standards way higher than what it used to be before. Before is if you do something, you get engaged in some kind of sexual act with someone, it's sin. But Jesus has raised the standard even higher by saying that even if you think in your heart lustfully about another woman, you have already committed adultery in your heart. So just see the standard of holiness, how it has been raised. And the Bible teaches us about a virtuous woman. How will you know who is a virtuous woman? In Proverbs chapter 30, if you have time, read it. It talks about a virtuous woman. She's someone who does good for her family. She looks after her husband, her children. She works hard with her hands. Okay, she is generous. And there's always wisdom and kindness on her lips. And above anything else, she fears the Lord. That's how you come to know a virtuous woman. It's very easy. It's not rocket science. You can know who is a virtuous woman and who is not. In the New Testament, there's a story of one time when they brought an adulteress, the Pharisees, they brought an adulterous woman who was caught in the act, red-handed, in the act of adultery. And she was brought and thrown at the feet of Jesus, and they wanted to check what is the judgment that Jesus is going to give her. And Jesus just looks around and he looks down at the sand and starts writing something, and they are just waiting for him to respond. What is the punishment that he's going to give? Because in those days, any woman caught in the act of adultery, the punishment was stoning to death. Okay, that was what the law was in the Old Testament. And Jesus just looks around at everybody and says that if any one of you in this place who has not committed a sin, let him throw the first stone. And then one by one, people started leaving the place, because when he said that, there was conviction in each one's heart, because there was not one person who was without a sin. So nobody could throw a stone when Jesus said that. And then Jesus just looks at her with mercy and he says that, where is everyone who were condemning you? And then he says, neither do I, even I do not condemn you, but go and sin no more. That is the Jesus that we serve, someone who will forgive you no matter what past or what background or what you are right now or what you are involved in right now. But here's the word of the Lord for you today. Maybe you've been caught in some addiction, pornography, maybe you've been caught in something which is not moral. But here's what Jesus is saying to you today. He's saying, go and sin no more. He does not condemn you because he is here. And when Jesus says that to you, his word has such grace to set you free from that addiction. See, in verse 21 it says, for the ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his path. See, God, all our ways are before the Lord. Whatever we do, good things, bad things, small things, hidden things, secret sins, every single thing is before the Lord, before the eyes of the Lord. And God is not only just watching it, He's pondering it, He's thinking about these things, what we are doing. Okay? And then it says, his own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. See, we should not think that, oh, I'm tempted by this one, or I'm tempted by that one, or this one's tempting me, or this thing came in front of me. The thing is, the first time when you see something bad, okay, it's an accident. But the second look is your test. And God gives you grace to run away from every temptation. Someone who is not running away from a temptation is somebody who has that sin within him. You have that thing in you. You know, if I'm not running away from a certain temptation, means I have that sin inside my heart, and I'm allowing myself to be trapped in that sin. And here is this woman who is caught in the act of adultery. Jesus is saying, I do not condemn you. So even if you are in that state where you have that problem, Jesus is here to set you free. It could be an addiction, it could be pornography, it could be adultery, whatever you're caught in. Let's not give our honor to someone else. Let's not give our honor to others, to a stranger. It's like giving away. Don't give away your honor. God has placed honor inside of each of us. Let's not give that honor away. And even if you have given it away, Jesus is here to restore everything, because He is the master restorer of everything. He's the one who turns everything new. He can just flip you into a new leaf, make you a new creation. I would encourage you all to read this Proverbs chapter 5. Read it and understand it for yourself. And I'll be praying for you. See you next week.